Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, back at y'all with another video, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive day. I'm just chilling on my break right now, man. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk on the road to 3K. We hit that 2,200 mark, about to hit that mid 2,200 mark. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. All right, y'all, if y'all seen the video that I had made or the live I actually had went on last night, then you're probably going to get the idea of exactly what direction I'm going to go and what topic I'm about to approach. You know what I'm saying? If y'all haven't seen that live, please go check it out, man. That was a pretty dope live, in all honesty, man. I got real animated, you know what I mean? A little bit out of character in comparison to what I usually do, but regardless, man, it was a great live. We had a great conversation, and I was definitely cooking on there. And I'm about to do the same thing on here for those of y'all who haven't seen the live. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into the whole situation that's going on with Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis. You feel what I'm saying? Obviously, that's one of the biggest fights to be made in the sport of boxing right now. When you mention the Benavidez-Canelo possible fight, when you talk about the Bud and Boots possible fight, you got to mention Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis in that mix as well. And in all honesty, it might rank above, you know, either one of those fights, if we being honest. You see what I mean? And I've been on social media, you know what I mean? I've been looking at, you know, the criticisms that Shakur Stevenson has been facing. And I guess it's just a cool thing right now to dislike Shakur Stevenson in all honesty. And I guess the cool thing to do as of right now is to rock with Gervonta Davis, because the contrast and support that both of these guys get is crazy. You see what I mean? It's almost as if Shakur Stevenson does everything wrong, and it seems like Gervonta Davis can't do no wrong from what I be seeing on social media. But let's get into an honest, objective conversation, man. And before I get into this is not me hating on Gervonta Davis. Like I said on the live, this ain't me throwing shots at Shakur Stevenson or discrediting him in any way. The reality of the situation is I rock with both of these guys. You know what I mean? I will be neutral when these guys fight, and I think they both have, you know, qualities within themselves that could possibly defeat each other. And that's the type of fights that I want to see. I want to see 50-50 competitive fights. I want to see these guys in there with styles that they never seen before. And I want to see how good these guys are and if they're able to make the adjustments necessary to come out victorious. You feel what I mean? That's why I like to watch boxing, in all honesty. Besides me being a part of the sport, I love to see great competitive fights. And I think that's amongst the most competitive fights to be made in the sport of boxing right now. You feel me? But let's get into this conversation. I know this is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. I mean, there's going to be people in the comments and their feelings about what I'm saying. But, you know, just think about things objectively and just remove your emotions from this as a regular man should, and you should be all right. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, I've been listening to the criticisms that's been, you know, going on Shakur Stevenson's side. And, you know, Shakur Stevenson has made it clear he don't give a fuck about what the fans think. But I'm going to just tell you exactly what they've been saying, and because a lot of people aren't really satisfied with the possible opponent that Shakur Stevenson will be facing next, which is Joe Cordina, according to these reports. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, they agreed to a fight in November, I believe, on the Better Be Even Bivol undercard. You know what I mean? Shout out to Turkey Al-Sheikh and Riyadh Season for putting that together. Shakur being in the mix on this card, it seems like it's going to be another lit event. You feel what I'm saying? But regardless, a lot of people aren't really satisfied with this opponent, and they're making it seem like Shakur Stevenson is at fault for why the Gervonta Davis fight isn't happening right now. And I have to disagree with that strongly. You feel what I mean? Is Joe Cordina the best opponent right now? Absolutely not. You feel what I mean? It is not. I'm not satisfied with the opponent selection at all, but you got to take into consideration the guys that he's supposed to face, or some actual big fights that can happen around the lightweight division, have their roadblocks in front of them. You know what I mean? In regards to William Cepeda, he let it be known, his team let it be known that he will not be ready for November. And Shakur Stevenson wants to get one more fight before the year is out, right? So I guess he on that Lomachenko shit where he's saying he's not going to be available till 2025. All right, cool. A lot of people were calling on the Raymond Mordetalia fight. Okay. You know what I mean? That's a solid fight. I like that fight more than Joe Cordina, but in all honesty, Raymond Mordetalia is not as decorated as Joe Cordina. You know what I mean? I think the only thing that's hurting Joe Cordina is that he got stopped in his last bout. I mean, I think that's what really bothers a lot of people. But, you know, he's a more decorated fighter than Raymond Mordetalia. Raymond Mordetalia just came off of a lackluster performance against Tevin Farmer. And being that Raymond Mordetalia is with Top Rank, I think Bob Arum will block that fight from happening with Shakur Stevenson, considering the fact that Shakur just left Bob Arum in Top Rank. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the Lomachenko fight is not within reach. and he's with Bob Arum, so it seems like that's not going to happen. And Bob Arum's not going to give him the Baranchek fight neither. He said that he would rather give it to Keyshawn if Shakur Stevenson doesn't re-sign with him. So that cuts off a lot of potential fights. You feel what I'm saying, that he could possibly make. I'm sure there's some other guys that you could mention. I even heard people bringing up Abdullah Mason, who, is still at the prospect stage of his career. You feel what I mean? But that's another top-ranked fighter, and Bob Arum's not throwing that dude in with the Wolves, at least right now. You feel what I'm saying? So you really got to think about, how many options are eliminated. And maybe Joe Cordina, he's not the best opponent, but he's probably the best opponent to choose at this point in time if he's looking to stay busy or at least close out the year strong. You feel what I mean? But regardless, let's get into the criticisms that a lot of people are putting out with Shakur Stevenson. You feel what I mean? One of the biggest things that I've seen is that they're saying that he's not calling out Gervonta Davis enough. You know what I'm saying? They say that, his energy is different with Gervonta Davis. He doesn't really call him out. He's too respectful, blah, blah, blah. And then another thing that I've seen, and they said that he's not doing enough to make the fight happen. You know what I mean? And they're really disappointed that he's picking Joe Cordina instead of, staying consistent with pursuing the Gervonta Davis fight. Now, let's attack that first part, that last part right there in terms of him not doing enough. You feel what I mean? Because this is a real head scratcher, literally. You feel what I mean? Very confusing because in all honesty, what is it that Shakur Stevenson is supposed to do to let you know that he wants to fight? You know what I mean? It's not like he could send a man the offer. If y'all could recall from some time back, Leonard Ellaby, who works really close with Gervonta Davis, a good business partner of Gervonta Davis, he lets it be known that Gervonta is the A side and can't nobody offer him or make him do shit that he don't want to do. You feel what I mean? When you are the A side, Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, those guys were A side fighters in the past. They were the ones who sent offers out for people to fight them. You know what I mean? Because they're the star, they're the A side, they're the ones who bring in the revenue to the table. They're the superstars, so they're the ones who get to call the shots. You feel what I mean? So if a fight was to actually happen between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis, it would be Gervonta Davis and his team that would be making the offer to Shakur Stevenson, not the other way around, because Shakur Stevenson can't make Tank do whatever. He can't make him do anything he doesn't want to do. And Gervonta Davis is not going to move until he feels like he's ready to do so. You feel what I mean? So in regards to people criticizing Shakur for not doing enough to make the fight happen, it all starts with Gervonta Davis. You feel what I mean? And if Gervonta Davis is being quiet right now and he's not sending no offers to Shakur Stevenson's team, why the fuck does Shakur Stevenson have to sit there and wait and hope that Gervonta Davis gives him a fight offer? You know what I mean? So he's just going to sit out for the rest of the year waiting for an opportunity. And if Gervonta Davis, possibly picks a Rayo Venezuela or whoever the hell it is, then Shakur Stevenson just wasted some time in his career when he could have picked up another fight, stay active and got another payday to feed him and his family. You feel what I mean? So I don't really understand that criticism right there in terms of him not doing enough to make the Gervonta Davis fight happen. Because there's only so much Shakur Stevenson can do until Gervonta Davis sends him a legit fight offer. So let's talk about that. I mean, so we've addressed that. So the next thing that I want to get into is people talking about that Shakur Stevenson's energy is different when Gervonta Davis' name is brought up, and he's not calling out Gervonta Davis enough. Now, I pose a question for you guys, man. And the question that I'm having, which I spoke about on live yesterday, is how many times have people called out Gervonta Davis and it's automatically turned into a legit fight that had actually happened? Now, I can name two guys, you know what I mean? I heard Rolly Romero calling him out all crazy. He made the fight happen. Ryan Garcia called him out all crazy. Ended up happening. However, the reason why the Rolly Romero and Gervonta Davis fight happened was because they was under the same umbrella with Mayweather Promotions and PBC. So that was an easy in-house fight to make at the time. You feel what I mean? And with Rolly running his mouth, it was good promotion. You feel me? Now with Ryan Garcia, that was a fight that they made because it just made business sense. You know what I mean? It had the casual boxing fans in it. It had the hardcore boxing fans in it. It was just a good business move. And it was an fairly easy stylistic matchup for Gervonta Davis to overcome. So it was a high reward with the lowest amount of risk. You feel what I'm saying? If we just being honest looking back on that situation, you know what I mean? Especially with the rehydration clause and all that, they made sure they was in the best possible position to stomp Ryan Garcia and leave with the bag. Legal bank robbery like Floyd Mayweather would call it. But regardless, There's been plenty of fighters from the 130-pound division all the way up to 140-pound division, even 147 if you want to include Conor Benn, who have called out Tank numerous times, and a fight was never made as a result of that. I remember at 130, Lomachenko, when he was a champion at the division, the same time Tank was, he called out Tank consistently. Fight never happened. They shot that shit down. Tevin Farmer, who ended up getting a belt at 130 pounds and calling the Unified against Gervonta Davis. The fight never happened. Gary Russell, who was at 126 at the time and was willing to move up to 130 to fight him, called him out numerous times. Fight never happened. At 135, Devin Haney tried to call for that fight. You know, and I know a lot of people don't like Devin Haney, but the facts are the facts. He went about trying to fight Gervonta Davis in different ways, whether he was trying to make Gervonta his mandatory through the WBA, sending him a legit fight offer. I think he offered him like $20 million or whatever the situation is. They really tried their best to make that fight. Nothing ever happened. You know what I mean? At 140, I heard Sue Burrell call him out. Crickets. Conor Benn at 147 call out Tank. Crickets. So it's like, why are y'all so sure that if Shakur Stevenson calls out Gervonta Davis that a fight will happen then and there? You know what I'm saying? It just don't make sense, because based off of the history, you gotta wait until Gervonta Davis feel like fighting you, because a call out is not gonna be enough. Tank is not one of them dudes that pride get hurt and then he go behind the scenes and be like, yo, make this fight happen, make this fight happen. He don't care for the call outs. He just do whatever his team advises him to do, and he just goes about it that way. He does not care about legacy, y'all. He don't care for belts. You know what I mean? He don't care to run up numerous divisions. He don't care about fighting the best. He gives a fuck about the bag and sustaining his undefeated record. You feel what I'm saying? So he's going to do whatever he can to achieve both of those feats. Staying undefeated and leaving with the biggest amount of money possible. You feel what I mean? So I understand a lot of people aren't satisfied with Shakur Stevenson's next opponent. And I feel like a lot of people are not going to be satisfied with Gervonta Davis's next opponent, because it's not Shakur Stevenson. You see what I mean? However, if we're going to really blame somebody, man, it's not going to be Shakur Stevenson, man. He's on the B side. He has to sit there and wait his turn. He has to really sit there and wait for Gervonta Davis to feel like fighting him so he can get that opportunity that he's been calling for a good amount of time now. If y'all going to be mad at somebody, even if you're a fan of Gervonta Davis, you should be frustrated with Gervonta Davis, because as quick as he was trying to negotiate with Loma to make a fight happen, he could have easily went in the Shakur Stevenson direction shortly after Loma ducked and try to make a fight happen with him. But according to Shakur Stevenson, his team never sent him an offer. It was all cap. And I'm inclined to believe that, man. You feel what I mean? So I don't want to hear that, oh, he was in Paris. I heard people saying, oh, he's in Paris, bro. He's not worried about that right now. Okay, but he was in heavy negotiations with Loma until he pulled out. And they got into that fairly quickly after the Frank Martin fight. All of a sudden with Shakur Stevenson, it's crickets, and, you know, that's not something they want to pursue as of right now. Along with Coach Calvin saying that, you know, black versus black fighters don't sell, but somehow a black fighter versus a Ukrainian fighter sells. Don't really make sense to me, but regardless, it is what it is, man. If y'all gonna be frustrated with somebody, be frustrated with Gervonta Davis and his team. And if y'all fans of him, man, y'all need to continue to put pressure on that man to make these biggest fights happen. Shout out to the Gervonta Davis fans who actually want to see the Shakur Stevenson fight happen, because I feel like a lot of these dudes nowadays, they not fans of the sport, they fans of the individuals, and they don't want to put their favorite fighter in the mix with somebody who may possibly beat them, make them look bad, you know what I mean, whatever the situation is. There's a lot of scared money out here. So shout out to the Gervonta Davis fans that genuinely believe that Shakur Stevenson will lose to Gervonta, and they want to see that fight happen next. You feel what I mean? I respect those guys all day, but the scared money Gervonta Davis fans, they need to stay the fuck up out of the comment section. You feel what I mean? But that's my overall take on this situation, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. This is Mazuma TV. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm out of here, man. Peace.